Never thirsty. Never thirsty.
What's up, y'all?
Never thirsty. Is that you saying never thirsty?
Yes,
Neff?
it is.
You know, I just figured that out just now. That should be when the red carpet song eventually comes out. That should be in the song as like a hidden like. Okay, good. Welcome to another edition of Never Thirsty. I am Stu Stone, aka Chitty Bambino. I am never thirsty. If you know me, you know that. You know, thirst is a sign of desperation. You don't want to be desperate. You always want to have a beverage with you. I go to places. I always bring a drink with me. So you should think about that first and foremost with your life. With me, as always, is the Never Thirsty, all the way from New York, Mr. Neffy Neff, aka the only, the last, the most iconic B-boy of them all. There he is, Mr. Neff. How are you, sir?
I'm very good. How are you?
No hat this week. That's what looks different. I guess you look fresh. Like you and I both, I think, since last week cleaned
we
up.
got trimmed up.
You look like let me see. What do you got going on there? Look at very nice.
Got the line up.
I'm not used to
Ready
seeing
to go.
you without a hat. This is a big day.
That's right. You never see me without a hat.
No,
I saw you had a hat on.
Very handsome guy. I mean, geez, been hiding all of that.
Fault.
Yeah.
I never
How
hide.
are you, man?
I'm good, man. I saw Slick Rick last night perform at a.
Wait, hold on. Before you say that, we got to acknowledge from Dusseldorf, Mr. WireFang, the guy who's helping. He sort of brought this together. Fanging and banging. WireFang. How are you, Fanger?
WireFang.
Big up. You know, I just making beats. I tried to make a beat out of the guitar on Pornhub.
On Pornhub. There's a guitar on Pornhub?
And I make a beat from that guitar.
Yeah, so WireFang does a lot of tracks. Of course, you know, Neff, he's an MC and an entrepreneur. And, you know, I dabble. We've got some stuff coming with WireFang soon. I wanted to give you an update, though, for people who are keeping track. I mean, if you're keeping track, good for you. You know, hit subscribe. If you want to keep track, you hit subscribe, and you can keep track because these videos are going up all the time, I think.
And the like button. Hit that like button.
Smash the like button, all that stuff. But you know, last time we spoke, we were talking, I'm going to shoot a new movie soon, a heist movie, a Christmas caper. And we were talking about Tommy Davidson last time. Do you remember? I was all excited. Yep. It's not happening. No. So it's not happening. It didn't end up working out. So that's why you can't get too excited about things until I see somebody on set with me and I'm saying action and they're acting in that role. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you can be excited though for the prospect.
I'm still excited the fact that he, read the script.
Yeah.
If he read the script. Dope. According to my sources, he did. So Tommy, if you're watching, I hope you like the script. I'm sure the dates don't work out, American Thanksgiving and all that stuff. He's not trying to be in Winnipeg. But yeah, so anyway, you were saying Slick Rick.
Yeah, I went to a dinner for Kay Woods and he's opening up a community center in Park Hill for the kids. It's a big undertaking. And it's going to change lives. He has a studio in there and all types of stuff for art for the kids and stuff like that. And a special guest was Slick Rick.
Wow.
This man just walked out and performed 3 records. I lost my mind in there.
That's amazing.
Lost my mind.
And is he wearing the chains and everything?
The dumbest chains. I mean, when I say dumb, I mean in a good way. They were the size. He had a chain on the size of an iPad.
Yeah. Do you think that who did that first? I'm sure there was people that were wearing chains long ago, but I'm saying in the pop culture as part of their persona, would you say Slick Rick was first or was Mr. T before him? Who was wearing chains?
Listen, that's a good question to say. Mr. T was heavy early, but as far as rap chains though,
Mr. T wasn't rapping, but I'm just saying in general, though, do you think that Slick Rick was a Mr. T fan and was like, I want to do that?
He might have been. The first time I ever seen a big chain, though, to be totally honest with you, was Eric B. and Rakim. That's the
Yeah,
first time I've ever seen a big
sure.
chain. But Mr.
But
T,
Eric B and Rakim they didn't like rap about their chain, like Slick Rick did. Like he
he
wasn't
did?
talking about being like rich and stuff. Like I don't remember that. Maybe I wasn't paying attention.
No. They didn't talk about being rich.
Yeah, I'm
Not at
saying
all.
like Slick Rick is I'm rich the ruler. You're all peasants. It's like it was part of his
Yeah,
persona was having all these chains is what I'm saying. And
right,
he
right, right.
and like one of the most listen, he is an innovator, a groundbreaker. Rakim too. Obviously, we speak about him all the time, but Slick Rick needs to get his just dessert, his flowers as well, because Slick Rick was doing it different than what all the other stuff was, and he opened up the door for a whole different kind of artist that would spawn from Slick Rick. I would put
He's my
Outkast.
favorite rapper.
I would put Outkast on the list of people who were probably inspired by Slick Rick, which probably explains why they collaborated together at some point.
Listen, Slick Rick is my favorite rapper. All
Yeah,
time.
I mean, he had a style. He was bigger than just rapping. He was like, he was the real deal, the full thing, the full package.
Yes, he's the man.
Yeah.
All
So what
day.
songs did he do?
Huh?
What songs did he do?
We did Children's Story. Did he do he didn't do The Ruler's Back. I was so
Caught up in the moment.
yeah, I don't remember exactly. He did 3 of them. He did like a verse from each one. I was so happy that he was just there, and I was like sitting right there, and he was just. It was like a dinner, like a big, like a reception type of event. So it wasn't like a party or nothing. So he just walked out while we eating pasta.
Oh, yeah. What kind of pasta are we talking about?
Vodka sauce. It was good.
Is that why you got cleaned up because you had to go to this event?
No, I usually get cleaned up on Fridays. You just don't see it under the hat.
Oh, okay. Friday's a clean day.
Friday's a cleanup day.
Seems like that's a bad day to do it, Neff. That seems like, just being somebody that's sort of like hyper analytical here. Friday would seem like a very busy day, and it's very crowded over there, and you got to wait a while unless you got a guy or something. But Friday seems like a pain in the ass. Thursday seems like more, or even Wednesday, you get 2 days growth by Friday. That's
that 2
not
days
so bad
growth
either.
on me is crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this doesn't look like this in 2 days. This is over.
So you got it. It only lasts like 1 or 2 days.
Yeah, then I'm
Like
looking
a 48-hour fade.
48-hour fade. There we go.
That's pretty good. I think we just invented that.
Yeah, the 48-hour fade is a thing.
It is a thing. You know what? I used to go as I'm getting older. I'm seeing the same kind of thing that I have. I used to go. I used to get my head shaved once a month. Well, that stopped a long time ago. Then it became every 2 weeks. Then it became every 10 days. And now it's like anytime I look and I'm like, I just want it to be this specific length. That 1 to 2, that 48-hour fade. That's the fade that I want. Like on day 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
So
it should be a Monday and then a Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. This is really ideal.
Yeah. And I don't even know if WireFang has hair or not.
He does. There's a beard.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that the beard is tucked into the beak.
You've seen him without the mask?
No, but I've heard rumors.
He's got lots. I have a story I want to tell. Now, I don't know if we do have a guest that's going to be joining us today. That is a film. He's in the film industry. He's in the. I would even describe. He's definitely in the hip hop. He's got his foot in that game as well. And Wu-Tang Clan is at the center of all of it, and we all love Wu-Tang Clan. So his name is Messiah. We're going to get to him. Is he here, or can I tell another story? Because I do have a. All right, because Slick Rick has stories. I'm going to tell you a story, Neff. I reached an interesting part in my life yesterday.
What happened?
I'm glad you asked. I went to a wedding yesterday. First of all, that was crazy. So, first, post. I mean, we're not even out of the pandemic. In a pandemic wedding, outdoor, with like a tent, double vaccinated to get in wedding. So I went to that. That's first and foremost. So that was like wild. Like for like an hour and a half, it felt like normal. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But
I
that's
just
not
went
the
to
thing
a
that changed. That's not the thing
what
that
happened?
changed. So I go to this wedding, and you have to understand that in my family, like I'm Stu, I'm the guy that was in Hollywood, and I'm there he is. That's how are you? How's Los Angeles? How are you doing? How's the career? You still making the movies? I saw your movies. Good stuff. How's your mother? Usually I go to these, we call them simchas, like a family gathering, like a wedding, a bar
A
mitzvah, a
Simca?
funeral. A funeral is not a simcha, but a simcha is a happy occasion, like an occasion, an event. You're gonna
Right.
have a simcha. Come to my simcha. It's a big party because we're celebrating something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I go to these family simchas, and usually I'm pulled in many directions. How are you? How's Los Angeles? You're still in Los Angeles? Oh, you're back here now. How's it going? You dating anybody? How's the movies? You still making those cartoons? They say, come over here. I want you to meet. Do you remember him? You don't remember him? He knew you when you was a pickle. That type of stuff. Last night, I went to a simcha. You still with me? And outside of my family that was sitting at the table and the person whose wedding it was, I had zero engagement at this wedding. Nobody talked to me. Nobody nobody. I was bothered by not a person. Not that I was bothered before, but I was not even approached for a small talk. Not even one. How are you? How you doing? Good. You good? And I thought about it, and I was like, wow, have I reached the unapproachable side of my life now? Like, did I used to be very approachable, and so it was easy access? There he is, and now it's like not approachable. Like, don't want to go up to him. I don't want to bother him. I don't want to talk to him. Or is it something else? Like, why did nobody talk to me?
Listen, let you have a hit movie
Someone
tomorrow.
was like, well, you didn't talk to them. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? Go around and
listen, because they were so used to you surprising them with an ooh and an ah. You might not have had an ooh and an ah in a long time. You know how people are. They're probably
no. I'm saying the opposite. I looked dashing, Neff.
It was fantastic.
Come on. I clean up very nice. I go into the place. There's definitely eyeballs, but nobody approaching. Nobody, how are you? How's the movies? Nothing. So that's what I'm saying. Have I reached a level in my life now where I am no longer approachable? Is it a vibe or an aura that I'm giving off, like, don't come talk to me? Or are people like, what? It just doesn't make sense, because I've never had that happen to me ever. And I don't know if I liked it or didn't like it. I kind of liked it, to be honest with you. It wasn't so bad to be able to eat my butternut squash soup without, pat on the shoulder and how are you?
Was it family?
My table was my family. And then the rest of the room, most of cousins, family, sure. Groom side, it's like a family event. Say what?
You might have gotten to the stage where you're so big now.
That's what I'm saying. Is that what it is? Am I too big for my own family?
They might whisper about you behind your back and start.
That's what it was.
Hollywood.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And I'm wondering if that has happened. Is it because ever since I started doing the NVRThirsty show, is my life is that's what's happened now? Is that what it is?
Listen, maybe.
If you went to a family function, do you want to be, remember me? Do you know who I am? Do you like that? Are you a fan of that?
I don't like people. So you asking the wrong guy for that one.
Okay, so
leave me alone. Famous, not famous.
I just think in life, people should just take this advice. If you have to go up to somebody and say, remember me, there's a good chance they're not going to remember you. So you're putting them in an uncomfortable situation. Instead of being a remember me guy, why don't you be like, remember me, Steve? Like, give them the answer with the question, because then you're going to avoid having an awkward moment. And whenever I used to go to these simchas, I say used to, because last night I went to one and nobody talked to me. But
When's the
at
last time you went to one?
I mean, listen, I don't know. It's been a while, but that's I mean,
Well, that
listen, I've
could be
had a
it.
movie come out since the last simcha.
You had to promote it you should have left flyers on everyone's table.
Yeah.
For the movie.
But my point is, people will come up to me at those family functions and be like, "Hey, remember me?" And it's like, a lot of the times I don't. And it's not because it's because I just don't. It's like, obviously the hello that we had when I was 3, like, didn't stay with me. That time, that we played catch when I was 6, it didn't stay here.
It shouldn't be awkward though, because I tell people, nope.
Yeah, see, I
I
can't
don't
do
remember.
that. Maybe
No,
the
I
news
will do that.
say that. You do that, so someone's like, "Hey, Neff, it's me. Remember me?"
Refresh me.
You would say, "Refresh me."
Yeah.
By the way,
Because
that's a good catchphrase for you. So it's like Stu is never thirsty, and you're like, "Refresh me." It's like,
I don't like awkward situations, and I don't like small talk. I hate it. I hate small talk. I don't like it. It's nonsense. So I like to say,
all right, well then, the small talk. Sorry about that. I did swear. I apologize. That was the only time. I won't do it again. Forget the small talk because we've got some big talk coming. We do have a guest. He is here. We want to bring him in, ladies and gentlemen. Let us do that. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring him in, Messiah.
What's up, brother?
What's up? Oh, there we go.
Messiah. How are you, man?
Good, man. Good. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? So I feel good.
It's nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, pleasure. Yeah, real pleasure. And I think you're bigger than you think, man. I saw your documentary, so maybe that's why people don't want to talk to you.
Do you think that's like now they just know too much, maybe because the documentary said too much, and now they're like, "Oh, that guy's, we can't talk to him."
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, you're on streaming. It's like it was a good doc, so you're big man. Time. Yeah, man.
Oh, please, thank you. Okay, thank you. We're here to talk about you, though, and you've got some really exciting things going on. And before we get into sort of the film stuff, Wu-Tang Clan is such a big thing for all of us, obviously all 4 of us in here, and probably anybody that's actually watching this, liking it, hitting subscribe to it, they like Wu-Tang Clan too. We all sort of like came into the better part of our existences during the time period where it was a golden era where Wu-Tang Clan was the Beatles, was the Rolling Stones. Respect. They were a generational act that would transcended just being rappers, and it was a movement that's still going strong. And that were you always on it? Like, how did you first discover Wu-Tang Clan? I always like to find out how people first found out about Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah, well, I wasn't always. I was a fan, just like everyone else. I think, I think about Cream. That song to this day. That's still like a pivotal song for me. Like, sure. Just growing up in New York and like going through it. That was like a autobiography, just listening to that song. But Wu-Tang, I mean, it's a part of the New York experience. So for me, growing up, born and raised, it was just a part of what bubbled up at that time in hip hop. And it was like, wow, these guys are like talking about me and they're talking about our story. And, maybe we didn't all live that life, but it was like, oh yeah, I know that guy and I know this and I've been there and I know all these areas they're talking about. So that's where I got connected with Wu, and kind of went from there. I got lucky enough to start, managing Old Dirty Bastard's estate. And,
I was going to get to that. So that's, I was trying to figure out if you were already like a Wu-Tang fan at that point.
Oh man, huge. Like, for me, that I'm back in the days where you had cassettes, so right. It was like that album was just in my cassette player, and you used to make your own mixtape. So it was like, those songs were on rotation. Yeah, you be in there.
Tape deck DJing is a skill, by the way, underrated skill. Like, you can mix with 2 tape decks.
Come on, man. That was like we were all masters in our living room and bedroom, you know, with that pause button and that record button. So it was, you know, I used to have my tape and, you know, getting off the train to go wherever I could. No one could tell me anything when I had the big headphones, but not the fresh ones that they got today. I had, you know, you had the clunky ones, but you know, that album got me through.
I would say that, you know, it was like specifically like Wu-Tang Clan checks like so many boxes of like how to build like an empire. I mean, it wasn't just the music, but the music for sure, that's the start of it, right? It's like without the music, none of it. So the music itself was so different. So, you know, for me, I was living in Toronto, Canada. It took a couple extra months for it to get there, and it spread like, part of my language. That's my second swear. Sorry, I have to give $5 every time I swear. but you know what I mean? When by the time we got it, we were like consumed by it. It was like different. It was just so different than everything else. And then the logo is like another thing that was just like a home run right out of the gate. It just like connected with everybody immediately. Every kid wanted to wear one on their shirt. Everybody wanted to wave that flag. And it's like the Rolling Stones' tongue or Kiss, or, you know, you think of these iconic music acts that have, you know, the Rolling Stones probably number one, but like Wu-Tang Clan is right there. It's like,
right there.
You know, you go to Target right now, they have Wu-Tang Clan. It's like Wu-Tang Clan is it is here. It is not going anywhere. And unfortunately, Old Dirty Bastard, who, you know, his solo album was incredible. You know, he left us too soon, and you know, right around the time when Wu-Tang was really experiencing like commercial success like they had never experienced. You know, before it was all this organic type of stuff, but then that album, Triumph, right? Or that one with Triumph on it, Wu-Tang Forever. That one actually had like the machine behind it too. Like MTV was playing a video with no hook in the song. You know, Rolling Stone, everybody was on board at that point, and like that was like a different level. That was like, and ODB. It's sad that he didn't get to necessarily get to do that part, but he obviously he lives on, and that's where you come in. There is an estate when somebody passes away, and when a big, you know, celebrity hip hop legend passes away, there's business that has to be taken care of there. How did you get into that?
Yeah, so I mean, you nailed it. Like, you know, his solo albums were revolutionary in their own right, you know, and they changed the game. I think, you know, his album was also one of the albums that, you know, was just instrumental for me, you know, just that whole Brooklyn Zoo coming at you, you know, one man army.
Oh, it will also, you know, you say that too, but if I think about how it came, like the ODB solo album was the first MTV thing, because he went when he had his ID. I forget, it was some kind of thing he did. And it was on TV, and they made a whole.
He went and got his his check. You know, he had his album. I got the album right here. You know, he went with his card, and not this card, but he went with his card, and he got the check. But it was real.
Yeah.
And like one of the things about ODB, you know, people love is that he was real with it. He was one of the first people to come out and just be like, I'm from the hood. Yes, we've been on welfare. Yes, you know, we've been through that system, but we still do positive things and we're making it big. Like, you know, for me, that was instrumental because a kid from New York and going through hard times, a single mom, you know, it was one of those things where I related. Like, people don't even know, you know, I'll just show you this on my desk here. You know, that's a $1 food stamp right there. So that's real, you know, and it's like we had public assistance growing up too. So
I used to hide those things.
Yeah, I know. Tell the story.
I used to have to pay when I had to go to the store. If I had to see anybody in the store, I'm waiting for them to leave. Even though most of them was spending the same type of money I was spending. Yeah. I would wait for my friends to leave, then whip it out on the low, be like, yo.
Yeah, it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like ODB came out and told you, don't be embarrassed. Yo, I'm putting this on the album cover. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, who was doing that?
I think it's brilliant, and it. I
Mhm.
think that
Definitely.
that record also helps bring that other album we talked about that had the machine behind it. That ODB album was the nice bridge between the 36 Chambers and that record. I think ODB doesn't get the credit he probably deserves there, but he's you totally, that was such a huge thing that he did that. It was like covered. It was like it was like everywhere. It was a huge viral story before there was an internet.
It was viral before there was viral, right? Before we had the cell phones and we were snapping photos all the time. It was like and what people don't understand is like that album cover was his genius. When I talk to Dante Ross, he'll tell you over and over again in multiple interviews that album cover was all ODB. Right. That was all him thinking, but it was just him saying, "This is who I am. I'm proud of who I am, and I'm gonna rep it." And that gave us all pride to kind of get out there and rep it, and it took things to another level. So, and then people don't know how much of a crossover artist he was. Like hits with Mariah Carey, in Ghetto Superstar, like. Sure. That was before people were really figuring out that mix of the two. That was experimental.
Ghetto Superstar for sure was like that was like a huge kind of, that song was massive.
Oh.
And it was like to have a soundtrack song like that, you don't really get that these days, but like I think that I loved that era where there was like the song from the soundtrack and the soundtrack. It's not like that now, but that's you could get a huge hit song from being on a soundtrack, and that song did way bigger than the movie did.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good movie. It was a pretty good movie, but the song is still talked about and still played. As a matter of fact, at the wedding I was at, where no one talked to me, they played that song at least twice.
That's a hit, man. It's a crossover hit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another thing. It was just in Space Jam, New Legacy. They played a little bit of it in the beginning. Amazing. Ghetto Superstar. So that song lives, and that's ODB. That's like the music. And when you talk about the business, which you kind of threw out there, is like all of that business needs to be done.
Right.
And all of that IP, right? Because it's intellectual property. All that needs to be protected, and money needs to go to the right place, and sure. All that needs to happen. And that's what we do with the states, making sure, hey, he had a lot of kids. We got to make sure all those kids get fed. So all that money's going to the right place.
How did you get in? Like, was there people like bidding for that position? Like, that seems like if somebody big passes away like that, is the phone ringing at the house? Like, are people all being like, hey? Like, how does
this question?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm gonna be, 100%. No, not at the time. Like, the value wasn't seen in hip hop, in intellectual properties. I think now, as unfortunately, as these stars pass away young, people now see the value. So there is probably, some bidding or competitive shopping, or people, present their services. But back then, there was no value. It was exactly the opposite. People were running away. When we got involved with the estate, my company, Four Screens, it was, we had to build it up, meaning the brand was there. People loved him from the music, but there was how do you put deals together? How do you protect the image and likeness? That was something we had to do, and we had to construct.
Right.
So, it's nowadays people understand the value, but back then, especially with hip hop, it wasn't there. It was like,
does that include like publishing and stuff for his music, or just like his likeness, or someone wants to do a movie, or how, when for the people that don't understand this world, like you're like the Michael Jackson estate, that's probably a huge business.
Oh, huge business.
And I would imagine that ODB's is not something to sneeze at either. It's probably a lot of requests. I hear I Like It Raw all the time in commercials and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a vodka commercial or something that plays it now. It's like you hear Shimmy Shimmy Ya all the time.
You're on the money. It's a huge business, and you're managing the music, the publishing, then you get into the name and likeness. Then there's IP of the photos that were taken, and what photos do we own as the estate? So these are all things you have to identify and then understand the value of them as you put them out in the marketplace. Then from there, you get into the documentaries, the biopics, the
There
books.
just was one. So did they have to do a deal with you guys?
Oh yeah, everything legit comes through us. Now, there's some bootleg licensing out there, and that's what it is. But if it's legit, then it has to
like
come
the one
through
that was
us.
on the one that was just on, like the big Wu-Tang show.
Oh yeah. We participated in that. We anything Wu-Tang that ODB is a part of, which he'll be a part of everything because he was a founding member. We're part of that deal. We're structuring it. We're making sure the ODB rights are taken care of. Wu-Tang American Saga. We're so happy to have a second season. That's
so
like,
great. That's great.
Yeah, man. That's like, and seeing ODB represented more and more in the show, that's huge for everybody.
So how does it work for, like, if they sell a Wu-Tang Clan shirt at Target?
Yeah.
Is there a drip that goes down that like lands?
I think it's a drip, but you gotta remember there's a lot of members.
So like the drips get split into like micro drips, and then those micro drips become micro drips.
Yeah, and then
but there's a volume there. I mean, there's got to be a lot of water.
Yeah. You got that right. For us, it's really about the ODB brand. Like that's where.
Yeah, that's where it's like 100%.
It's going to the right place. It's going everywhere, and then you can rep ODB to the fullest, and do all of that. So that's what we're.
Is there like a process of how you would go about approving something like that? Like, say I had an idea. I'm like, oh, I want to do. I'm going to say a bad idea because I want to save my good ideas when we're not on camera so that we can really talk business. But let's just say I want to do ODB Frisbees.
All right.
It's going to be great.
That's not that bad. That's not that bad.
And I have like an ultimate Frisbee league that wants to be the ODBs, and we're going to sell them all the ODB Frisbees. And I come to you with this idea. What happens next? I have to get an appointment with you, and then we sit down. I pitch you my Frisbees. Like, how do you figure out, okay, we want to do the Frisbees, we don't?
Yeah. So, one, not a bad idea. So I'm just,
I've heard my worst idea.
Yeah. So that's good because I've heard worse. So I'm like, oh, Frisbee League. Now, Frisbee League is very interesting. Basically you come to, you can find us on, ODB Legacy on Instagram, all that comes to us.
No, but we get all past that. We're
past that. So you found me.
Yeah.
So basically at that point, we have a licensing department.
Okay.
And we'd have a meeting with you. We have over 15 licensees. And, we'd sit down with you. We'd understand, hey, are you legit? Like, we ask you some questions. Hey, you got money? Like, you manufacture Frisbees? Like, how far along are you in the league? You got any teams? You got television rights? So these are things, is where are you going with this league? Now, if you tell me, hey, we love playing in Central Park and we just want some T-shirts and, we're going to do our own Frisbees on, one of these things, right? We probably won't go much further than that. Although we do some deals on love. There's some there's always ODB was for the children, but also for the people. So there are some love deals that we just do for the brand, right?
Is there ODB music that's not part of Wu-Tang Clan?
Well, his solo albums are not, then there's the album with Damon Dash that was out there for a little bit. And then there might be a possibility of some other music that we're hearing about.
Really? Wow, that's a good time to, that's a good teaser right there. He's back.
Oh, I'm back. Okay. That works. Technology. So there's some, there might be some ODB stuff coming out that's unheard of.
How many different like ODB sort of branded deals are there? Like, is there ODB like lighters and rolling papers and all that type of stuff?
We don't have that. We don't have the CBDs or cannabis right now. But we have about 16 partners, 16 licensing partners, mainly apparel. We love t-shirts, but whatever makes sense. And for us, it's about the fans. So I want to give ODB have such a unique life. And what the estate has told me is we want to make sure the fans are always having fun with whatever we do. This is not a money play. This is not a money grab. We're not putting them everywhere. Right. This is like, if the fans can do it and have fun, then we got something. So that's the charge from the estate, to make sure it makes sense and that, hey, we want it to be like a new experience. Like we just did a deal with Super 7 where they had these figurines, these like action, like G.I. Joes. Come on. It's like, that's right where, it's like, who didn't have a G.I. Joe action figure,
100%. Those are so sick too.
So we're just.
I gotta get that.
Yeah, what you want me to mail you one?
Put me on the friends and family list.
Yeah.
So now you've actually had a sort of a taste of. Now this is just me from the outside, so correct me if I'm wrong here. But it's like you're going along here, business is going well. This is a really interesting artist, a very unique artist that you get to sort of manage the estate of, and film and television stuff start getting in here, and now you're sort of starting to see new areas where things, how things work, and it's an exciting world. And then maybe, if I'm getting this right, now you yourself are expanding your operation to include film and television, and you have a new venture where you're raising money to sort of fund sort of your own projects. Is that what's happening here?
Yeah, 100%. Like, give you a little background on me. For 20 years I've been in entertainment and I've been producing, so like when you talk about producing, that's near and dear to my heart, because I know what we go through, as producers and making content. And for us, we were like, you know what? We have this business model. We have this car. We need some gas to make the car go.
Yeah.
And we also want to bring people along, right? Because we got this problem in Hollywood where they're not talking about diversity. They're not making diversity and inclusion happening. Still. Yeah. So we're like, you know what? It's in our DNA. It's in our business model. So we don't have to learn diversity. So let's go out and do an equity crowdfunding, reach the people, we're doing it on WeFunder and it's under 4 screens, and you can be an investor. Like it's not a donation. We're saying, come be an investor with us. You're part of our first round. So then we get diversity of investment and diversity of ideas. And now we go out and we might raise some money through VCs or big time investors. We can do all that, but we want the people to come along first on this journey. So that's what we're doing with our equity crowd raise. We're doing, we're getting investors and we're starting this way. But
would you say that though, in like 2021, 2022, and then probably in the next 5 years, that there are going to be new opportunities that didn't exist 5, 6, 7 years ago? Like, do you think that, like, have you seen any sort of change? Because I think that the timing for what you're doing, it's a great fight, obviously, but I think the timing is great because there actually will be hopefully more people that are wanting to do this type of tell these stories. It's like there's clearly something happening. There's a shift happening in some way. No?
Absolutely. I think the demand for diverse content, for content that looks like
people want to see
it.
They don't want to see the same stories every time.
Yeah, like look at us, right? We're here. We're all different colors. We're all different backgrounds. People don't want to see the same people doing the same thing, and it's like we make that content, and so we make content that looks like the people watching it.
Yeah,
and and we're in a good position for our future projects because all of our future projects are inclusive. So all of those will go. So we have an animated series, hip hop animated series. We have, a movie coming out, GOD, that we executive produce. So all of these will fit the bill. So I think in 5 years, you're going to see that. And we're going to lead that charge of, diversity and great content.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
as they said, it's happening right now.
Happening now, live.
Yeah, right on the screen.
That's it, man. You know,
let me ask you, do you guys have a record coming out, a secret old dirty bastard record that we never heard, or what? What's going on with that?
you know, we talk to a lot of people, so we all people approach us. We have to figure out what's what, but you know, there's plans. There's plans. There's materials out there, and we're like, okay, how can we get this out to the fans? That's our number one mission. So I can't drop, but we always are working 24/7.
So there might be an album, sneaky little album, hidden tucked somewhere.
It might be something. There might keep your ears sharp. ODB.
All right.
You know,
All right.
it's yeah. For
I mean,
you
I
know,
can imagine that, like, you know, you hear stories of like Jay-Z goes into the studio and like 2 hours later he recorded a whole album. Like, you know what I mean? It's like guys like just recording. Lil Wayne goes in the studio and records like 27 songs in like 3 hours. You know, ODB seems like the type of guy that could have done that. He's the type of rapper that could have gone in the studio, throw on a beat and just be him, and you can record like 9 songs in like 20 minutes.
oh yeah. You mean when these guys, everybody you named, ODB included, they love what they do. So it was like, you know, it's like there's nothing to go in the studio, hit the record button, and people are talking, you know, kicking it,
like
and then
Snoop
dropping
even at
verses.
this point, probably Snoop at this point is like that for sure. Like you could record probably like 100 Snoop songs and like
easily. I mean, when you love what you do, there's always going to be something somewhere. Somebody had the record button on.
Yeah,
you know. So
how does it work? So say somebody had the record button on. In today's world, they could just like put it up on SoundCloud or whatever they're doing. Like, how do you guys have like alarms that go off when somebody's how do you guys like make sure that, you know, the brand integrity sounds important to you? So it's like, how do you? There's got to be bootleg stuff happening all the time. So like, how do you keep up with it?
Yeah, I got a bat phone over here. The alarm goes off. No, we keep tight. We're very tight, you know, track of it. They have services you could get, and then, you know, you get alerts when things are happening. We try to get to things before they bubble up. We also say, come talk to us. This is why we're here. We're going to put it in its best light, and then let's make it commercially viable, right? You can put whatever you want online, but you know, it's going to be what it's going to be.
So the company that you work with for the estates, that's your company?
Yeah. So my company is 4 Screens.
Yeah.
And, you know, the estate is the estate of Russell Jones. So we work closely with them, and then we have other clients as well. But my company is 4 Screens.
Is there other like people like that the company represents, like ODB, that are, you know, we also have, I can't even think of somebody like Johnny Cash. We also have Bob Marley. We also have like, is it like that?
Yeah, we don't have those estates, but, you know, we're in the process of building on more estates, some things in the works, but some positive things. And that's a reason why we're going out and raising money now, because we have some announcements coming out about some other people we're representing, but we also represent writers, directors. So we're searching for IP and great talent, because that's part of our mission to change Hollywood, is that representation of great talent.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's part of our mission too. So we have some of those people under.
That's great, man. Well, listen, we're rooting for you guys, obviously.
Oh,
you know, as somebody I'm in the film business now, and I am an independent guy that has to like kick and claw and scratch. And even when I get stuff that feels like a success, I still have to like climb another wall. It's like never ending walls, man. So putting together a good team of people to like, you know, give you a boost to get over the walls, like that's important. And it sounds like you're a guy who's capable of putting together that team. And this sounds good to me. So I'm rooting for you guys. And I know Neff is, and I know WireFang is.
Yeah. You know, oh, appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I hope, you know, this all sounds good to me.
Yeah. You know, listen, we want people to invest. So, you know, look up 4 Screens, you know, 4screens.com, all the information. I know you guys are put it up, but you know, we're excited because we want people, if it sounds good, invest, and then let's go on the journey. It's not a donation. This is an investment, and this is about building wealth.
How much can somebody, what's like the lowest amount someone can put in?
Yeah, good question. We designed it so we went as low as you can go. That's $100. That's as low as we can go by the SEC.
For $100.
For $100, so you buy into the future ownership of the company. So you're buying in through a safe, and then from there it turns into equity down the road as we have other funding events. Right. But we've had people invest as much as a non-accredited investor, you can invest as much as 25 or a little bit under 25. It's all on WeFunder. I don't want to.
What does that mean, unaccredited investor? What does that mean?
Yeah, so now I'm getting in that lane, but I'll break it down a little bit. An accredited investor means you can almost invest as much as you would like. It's like, hey,
so
I got
somebody that has like a good credit rating and a this and a that. Like
that's someone who has good money. That has nothing to do with your credit. It's like Will Smith, he's an accredited investor. Snoop Dogg accredited. Like they have millions of dollars outside of their house.
Yes.
Non-accredited means you don't have that type of money. You know.
The rest of us.
Yeah, us. Right? It means, hey, you know what? Here's my $100. I'm in. Here's my 5,000. I'm in. You know, but we designed it that way so that we want everybody to be able to come on board with this.
Right. Well, that's exciting. So if people out there want to support the cause and be a part of this Four Screens future legacy as he, builds up an empire, I look forward to keeping tabs and keeping track. And, if there's anything we could do, you let us know.
Oh, I will, man. This is great. Like, I just, show the energy here. I'm loving it. So, and, I think you're like, oh, who am I? But I saw your documentary. It was tight, man. I was Thanks, like, man. Yeah. And I was like, oh man, that was some great storytelling.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Maybe we'll work together in the future.
That would be great.
Let me know. I'm unaccredited right now, but we'll talk.
That's all right. So am I. So we'll make it happen.
All right, cool. All right. Well, let's give it up again. That was a very cool chat that we had here. Messiah, all the best to you, man.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right. Take care. So there you go. There's a very interesting guy who, he wasn't, he answered all my questions.
Yeah, I wonder if there's an Old Dirty Bastard album coming out. We could have confirmed it live on this show first.
Sounded like there's one coming.
But he didn't confirm it. It was close. It was close.
It was close. But
it was a great interview.
Yeah, and we still have 13 minutes to chat more. This is exciting. We never have time to chat. This is huge. Is there something you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, well, what's going on? What has been going on lately? The government almost shut down yesterday.
You know what? I haven't really paid much attention, and I should be because, I should be. But I heard that too. But you know what? I've noticed if you don't put on CNN and Fox News, if you don't see something crazy happening right outside your door and you need to if some crazy world event takes place that you need to turn on the news to see what's going on, you shouldn't turn on the news.
Listen, let me tell you something right now.
Because even YouTube is dangerous. But my point is that it's like me not watching it. I'm not being sold the fear, and I'm not afraid of something. You can't be afraid of something you don't know. So maybe that's ignorant too.
No,
you should know.
There's bliss in that.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss, but I do know, so I can't pretend like I don't know anything. I mean, I'm not really following it, but I do keep things on. But I also think that everything is very much there's always some next thing to worry about. And that's part of what the news cycle is. And, if you go to the news for your news, that's probably the best place. That's probably the only time to go there. Otherwise, it's just entertainment or not entertainment. It's a way to sort of keep you engaged. It's you believe one side, you'll watch one channel. You believe one side, you'll watch one channel. That's, both guys who own those channels are probably
it's universally terrible.
Yeah.
I've never really watched the news and felt great after watching it.
There are certain guys that I can watch that I do believe that I'm watching, that I don't feel, like on Fox News, for example. You wouldn't expect me to be like, oh, Fox News. And I haven't watched in a long time, but during the election and all that, I was definitely on there all the time watching, just like everybody else. And I actually preferred to watch the Fox News because I wanted to see what they were saying. That's like I knew what the CNN side was saying, but I wanted to hear what the Fox guys, how they were reacting, what they were saying. It was like intriguing to flip back and forth. But there's a guy called Chris Wallace, not to be confused with the notorious Chris Wallace.
Never.
But, Chris Wallace, he's good. And there's a guy called
what?
Like like when he does the news or when he's done the thing, I don't feel like I feel like he's not BSing. I feel like he's not towing the company line. I feel like he says what he wants to say. And then there's another guy, Brett Baer at Fox News.
I don't mess with Fox News.
Yeah, so he's like one of their like sort of regular reporter dudes, but he seems like he's pretty balanced. And then you go turn to CNN and it's like, I don't know. There's a lot going on.
Listen, there's always a lot going on.
I like Wolf. Wolf Blitzer. You like Wolf?
No, listen. Let me tell you how I get my news. I get my news by clips from all the channels. Like on YouTube, there's news clips of channels from everywhere.
Yeah.
So you get to watch the world's view. You get to watch our view. And then it's just like a blur of finger pointing, disaster, and vaccines.
The funny thing is that the place that I get my actual real news from, not a joke here, real news. Like to me, I get caught up on the actual news through comedy. Now hear me out. I'll watch late night Seth Meyers and he does his monologue and it's like, that's the news.
Yeah. Bill
Or
Maher.
Saturday Night Live does the news, the weekend update. Like that's actually news stories. Like that's not, they don't write those stories. That's really the news. And it's like the way that it's presented on those shows. And I guess John Oliver or Bill Maher, those are places where I think there's actually like, it's more balanced. It's like comedians are not afraid to go after something that they think is wrong.
No, they're the
that's
truth
in their
tellers.
DNA.
They speak the truth.
Yeah, so I think that the comedians are actually the best source of news because that's who I watch.
Well, listen, Bill Maher is the news for me, I would say, for a lot of things that I watch. He gives it to me the way I need to hear it. It's digestible.
Yeah.
It sounds more, it comes from a realer space coming from him or coming from comedians in general. So I agree. That's always been, oh man, I can't even, he just passed away, like maybe not just passed away. He was a very cynical comedian, beard.
George Carlin.
George Carlin.
The man.
The man.
The best.
The man. Yes, one of the best.
Yes.
So he's definitely I used to get a lot of information from him straight from his mouth. He was very current.
I mean, it's still the same. You can listen to George Carlin now. Some of it probably didn't age well, but most of it probably did. And I mean, I think that I got to a certain age where there's a certain age where you get to when George Carlin starts making sense. Because when I was a young kid, I didn't care about him at all. And when he was on, Bill and Ted's and all that, I didn't make the connection. I was too young. But then when I got to a certain age where you're actually listening to what he's saying, then it's like, this is a TED Talk. It's like not even stand-up comedy. It's just
about humans.
Yeah.
About human behavior.
And he's brilliant in that sense. Chris Rock for sure Chris Rock, but Dave Chappelle is like the modern day George Carlin to me. I feel like Dave Chappelle can go up and talk about whatever's on his mind, and he'll find a way in an entertaining way to say something complex and to get me thinking about something, whether I agree with him or not. He knows how to do that. He's a magical thinker, Dave Chappelle.
Yes. Dave, we need you on the show, Dave.
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Dave also talks about humans Comedians
That's what I'm
always
saying.
focus their news first. It goes from the human being outward.
Well, he
You know
also,
what I mean?
yeah, I feel like, he's kind of like George Carlin. Like he talks about, he's not afraid to go to talk about whatever the biggest issue is, whatever the secret elephant in the room is. That's my third swear.
It's all right, brother. Things happen.
Yeah, I
We're
apologize.
talking about Dave Chappelle.
Dave
Sometimes
Chappelle's the man.
he gets
He
you
like
excited.
goes up, he starts smoking cigs, and he's just like he's just like so classic.
Yeah, he's an iconic. He's my favorite right now.
He's everybody's favorite. Never mind yours. It's like someone doesn't like Dave Chappelle, then
they're terrorists.
Don't trust him. Yeah. All right. Well, this has been a good one. Hopefully, we'll have some more positive updates on our lives. But there's definitely stuff coming outside of this.
Oh, listen, can I plug Rock? Shout out to Rock from Helter Skelter.
Of course.
He has an album coming out in the next few months, produced by Ron Browse, and we're gonna get him on the show to talk about
Is
that.
WireFang on that album?
No, WireFang's not. But WireFang has a secret little single with Rock.
Oh, that's right.
Listen, Jamie Kennedy. Oh, listen, you know what's funny? Here we go. Here's a funny story. Well, you weren't there, but you were there. When we were shooting a video on Jamie's lawn, these people pulled up. You saw the video when they pulled up those, and they were from Staten Island. So it was just like, oh, okay. I ran into them yesterday. Somebody introduced me to the guy, and I'm like, wait a minute, I know you. And I was like, wait, I met you in LA on in front of Jamie Kennedy's house, shooting a video. It was bizarre because he's from Staten Island. I never saw him in my life.
And to run into somebody in New York where there's like 20 million people, it's crazy.
Yeah. So shout out to that. But yeah, WireFang got that. But also WireFang has a few other treats with Stu Stone. The Jitty. We don't talk about that enough. You got that. You got a few songs. What's Acapulco Gold? Listen, is that for sale? I think it is.
I think you got to smash that subscribe button.
No, listen. You don't see. Listen, Acapulco Gold. One of the best records that came out this year to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm serious. You laugh. Listen.
Well, hopefully by the holiday season there'll be some videos and what.
The videos are on deck and it's shot by the Last American B-Boy, the super music video director, MCs / everything you need me to be. But I'm telling you right now, the Jitty. Please go down to iTunes and search WireFang featuring the Jitty. You will not be disappointed.
All right. Very good. There you go. We have had a great time here. Shout out to WireFang. Shout out to Cable Guy Jeff. Shout out to Neff. We're going to be doing this again. So you're going to want to hit subscribe so you can get notified when we put videos up.
Yep.
That's how this works. And you can never be thirsty by staying hydrated. Yeah, man. You got to stay hydrated. I'm drinking coffee. That's not a good thing to stay hydrated with. So I'm not practicing what I preach. But I see he's got the double cup there. What's in your cup?
This is Sprite Zero.
Sprite Zero. So it's like twice as awful.
No. Au contraire.
Sprite Zero?
It destroys Diet Sprite.
I
hate Diet Sprite.
Who drinks Diet Sprite?
Listen, I can't do. I like the taste of the carbonated sweet stuff, so I can't keep putting sugar down my neck all the time.
Yeah. Well, listen. So you're drinking Sprite Zero. So is there like another chemical that's put in there instead of sugar?
Yes, it's a different sweetener that doesn't have that aftertaste that the diet stuff has. It shocked me when I had it for the first time.
And it was delicious.
That was fantastic.
Well, there you go. Sprite Zero, if you're listening, there will be some Sprite Zero with Neff's hand holding it. T-shirts coming soon.
That's right.
We've now found out that Sprite Zero is his drink of choice.
Yes,
we will not let him live that down. We will make sure to remind him that Sprite Zero is his favorite. Sprite Zero. If you were like so thirsty You would reach for an ice cold Sprite Zero? That would be your first reach?
No.
Okay, just want to make that clear. We're cool again.
Yeah, no. If I'm super thirsty, I don't know if there's a brand of anything that I would particularly care for. I just want to drink something.
So
but that's no disrespect to Sprite Zero. You're still the top in my top on the top shelf of my fridge.
I'll tell you what. If I was so thirsty, which would never happen because this is never thirsty and we don't get thirsty here, but in a weird, hypothetical, bizarro world where I do these broadcasts and I don't swear, it's a perfect world. And I'm so thirsty, I would drink a Sprite Zero if that was the only thing available to me.
Next time I see you, I'm coming with a Sprite Zero for you.
I will not drink it because I won't be thirsty, and neither should you guys. Thank you for joining us. Again, I'm Stu, aka Chitty Bambino. That's NVRThirsty, Neff, B-boy of all B-boys, and WireFang from Dusseldorf. And this has been Never Thirsty.
Never thirsty. Never thirsty.